We're live. Creed, 1990, 1999, Human Clay. There's a lot of reasons this album means a lot. And it's one of those things where I don't do a lot of self-disclosure. I'll throw bits in and give little snippets, not because I'm embarrassed, because it's a music channel. And that's what we're going to talk about, is music. But this has such a... When I was growing up, I was one of 7 kids, 5 boys. Not poverty, but we were never rich. We were what you'd call working class, solid working class. And which is cool. I've got no, not looking back. I don't remember being hungry, all those different things. But I do remember there was never stuff for luxuries. And I remember, it must have been 99. So where was I? I had just left. I was in between something, or there was something wasn't working so well. I can't remember. And so my mum had said, I'll get you some albums for Christmas, son. And I'd heard a track from Creed. And I goes, oh, I want that album, Mum. I got that one and Eels, Novocaine for the Soul, pretty sure. Anyway, so it was in the days when discs were being burnt and you were buying copies. And the guy was selling the copies with the photo printed copy cover of the album and that. And I mean, I think she paid about £3 and she got me like 10, you know, and I was like, a massive amount of money for a grown man. And it genuinely was so grateful to have the music that I didn't care that there were copies. I don't think anyone did back in the day. But it mattered even more to me that it was music she was buying me. My dad had often given me books on my birthday, like Treasure Island on my 13th and stuff like that, you know? And he'd let me read all his Louis L'Amour books as a kid, you know? Sort of 15. I'd read all the Louis L'Amour books, including the detective stories, like loads of them. And so, in Lord of the Rings and all of that, it got me a chess set when I was about 6. So I'd always been spoilt with things that mattered. And this album matters. But then when I listen to it, it's a really good album. But the band faced some criticism. And I think, yeah, I'm going to play a song on the next reaction that they got picked up for. And Scott Tapp's spoken about it at length. It's about them being labelled as a Christian rock band. He is a self-declared Christian, although he went off the rails, not in his Christianity, but just in his whole health. And the band weren't, but being spiritual wasn't a problem. So let's see what this song means. Wash Away Those Years. Okay. Never released as a single. Tremonti's great on guitar. Has been. I've seen him in Alter Bridge and everything. Got the lyrics, guys. It's in a major, so it's major minor, it's a combination there, but it's deeply foreboding. Even if I didn't know the song, which I do, I'm very familiar with the album. They've only had 4 albums, 97, 99, that's the years, 2009, I think, and just, 4 albums as far as I'm aware of. My Own Prison, then, was it Weathered, then Human Clay, and then 2009, what was it, Full Circle? Yeah. So, but you can just hear it. This was written by Scott Tapp and Mark Tremonti. And you can hear Tremonti's playing guitar. But here we go. She came calling one early morning. She showed her crown of thorns. She whispered softly to tell a story about how she had been wronged. The sanctity, the crowns. The act. So it's laid out the introduction, brutal. She came calling one early morning, and she showed her crown of thorns. I'm just looking at the lyrics, guys. Well, when you have that crown of thorns, that's the pain and the sanctity. You make sense. The image, the crown of thorns, that were placed on Jesus's head, as a symbol, really. And that turns it into inner turmoil and pain that becomes her identity, because she's about to tell you a story about it. Yeah. But also, if you look at it from the aspect of it's the inner femininity that's been, so she's been physically destroyed, emotionally destroyed, yeah. Yet there's a resilience there, because she's going to tell you the story and she's going to carry on. So it's all there. It's laid out in that first bit, and you can hear it's not so much pain, but it's anguish in his voice, if that makes sense. He's got a good voice, Scott Stapp.
This is how she carried on.
The role,
Well, I guess she holds her
the lament.
and just imagine everything's alright. But she could not hide her tears, 'cause they were sent to wash away those years. They were sent to wash away those years.
So he turns the final word of that verse into a refrain by repeating it twice. Well, I guess she closed her eyes and just imagined everything's all right, but she couldn't hide her tears, because they were sent to wash away those years. They were sent to, so he repeats that. That's the defense against trauma. You guys have seen it. It's just the defense against trauma. Then which is the act of crying, that signals the re-emergence of truth. So you close your eyes, your internalism, the crying. So you create the defense, then you release the pain. And it does that in the song as well, because it's really mournful, really mournful. Let's pull that bit.
They were sent to wash away those years.
See, at the time there was a lot of hoo-ha, and it doesn't really matter. I quite like Christian music. I should. The people were saying this was the synthesis of Creed's Christian message, yeah, by imagery and secular sort of the therapy language. So combining the sort of the psychology of the therapeutic language with the Christian imagery, that was their message. Maybe, but they were really, the other band members didn't want to be labelled Christians rock band, because they weren't a Christian rock band. These guys had joined a rock and roll band formed in Florida in '94. Now, I'm not saying they're all out atheists or anything. It's just that, you join a rock and roll band. If you join a Christian band, then you join a Christian band. You know what you're joining. But if you join a rock and roll band, then suddenly everyone's calling you a Christian band. And I think at the time it got people, I guess some of them, the more enthusiastic Christian audience, were a bit peeved that the band were having this inner conversation about that. This has Christian values in it with the secular therapeutic language. So that's how it talks to you. And I'm okay with that. I quite like it.
My anger's violent, but still I'm silent. When Trev Georgie strikes at home, I know this decadence is shared by millions. Remember your love.
For me, the song switches its message in there a little bit. In other words, it's the femininity of nature and the planet versus the actual feminine. So he's conflating, not in a bad way, he's pulling them both together. Where he says, when tragedy strikes home, I know this decadence is shared by millions. So it's like, it's not necessarily a domestic violence message, although it alludes to that, yeah, strongly. But it's also the whole thing about the nature of how people emotionally live. Is it feminine energy? Is it the femininity of the planet? You can take it either way, but it's still a good song to think about things, because yes, and it's multi-layered, domestic violence and all that. It's not what I want to get into. It's not just men or women. It does allude to a woman here. But yeah, remember you're not alone. So there's a message of not hope, but a reach out of shared experience. Don't be alone. Find that shared experience and you're not alone. You could be supported. I guess you could extrapolate that out. But it's also just a good song, and really somber, and not nice, but good. I know. Repeat it becomes a refrain. See, that's that societal message of denial of the thing, but acceptance of it. That just crushes your integrity. So you've already suffered. So that's your identity versus role confusion. You can't try and talk about it, but then be asked to deny it and live on as if things are. If you just close your eyes and imagine everything's all right. Well, no. Then it says, but do not hide your tears, because they were sent to wash away those years of experience in society and all of that. You can really put this on a meta-narrative. But it's such a good song for that. And they took a bit of stick, not by me, and not by how many millions of albums they sold. Just, yeah. And some people say it was a bit saccharine, a bit overly spiritual. No, it's up to the listener to decide if they want to play it again, buy it, listen to it, don't listen to it. But it's not. Some critic's not going to tell me I should listen this way or that way. I'll decide. Same as you guys decide. So the repeat of this becomes refrains, yeah, separate lines attached to the verses. You know what I mean, guys. It's a re-emphasis of the message. They were sent to wash away those years. Maybe we can wash away those years. Now the bridge. Society. And we lay there in between. In life there are many portions, and I hope I find the meaning, basically. That finding a way forward in life is meaning. Yeah. The golden mean. It's a bit deep for me. It's Aristotle. It's hard. I struggle with. I'm clever enough, but humble enough to know that I don't get it sometimes. Yeah. That there's a virtue to be found between excesses and deficiency. So the more you've got and the less you've got, there's virtue in either. But it's difficult for me to understand. And I hope I find the golden mean. That's definitely Aristotle. I've read it vaguely somewhere. I can only read so much because the words get longer. But you can see what I'm getting at, guys. Yeah, the search for meaning is I hope I find the mean. Yeah, and it's an attempt to sort of reconcile the sort of paradox of what's being explained in the song. Yeah.
Well, if you just close your eyes and just imagine everything's alright, but do not hide your tears, 'cause they were sent to wash away those years. Well, if you just close your eyes
Coming up.
and just imagine everything's alright, but do not hide your tears, 'cause they were sent to wash away those years.
This line now.
Maybe we can wash away those years.
The song's been I. That line there switches it to we. So that comes from the individual to the collective empathy. And that's why I talked about, is it about the collective empathy of everybody for the feminine suffering in the song? Yeah, because it talks about the individual struggle. We can find the mean, the golden mean, the acceptance is a way of moving forward, but maybe we can wash away those years if we have empathy for that which has preceded us. And it's not a million miles away from true. It just isn't. It doesn't make it a universal truth for every single relationship and every single man and woman on the planet, but it's you can't deny that this happens throughout history.
I hope that you can wash away those years.
So for collective empathy, for understanding, and not suicidal empathy, but not sympathy, but there has to be, I guess, a sympathy that touches empathy if a shared experience is understood. But it's just that I hope that if we all not feel sorry for you, but if we all understand and we can empathize and we can begin to address it, then maybe you can wash away your tears. Yeah, it's good. Massive album. This broke them. I mean, it was done fine. I think it's sold over 11 or 12 million copies in the US alone. I'm pretty sure it's done about 20 million worldwide, and they've done about 45 million albums worldwide. Don't quote me on that, guys, but I know it sold a lot in the US. A lot. And I don't think 11's where it is now. And they're out touring again. They've been back on the road and, since 23. So yeah, there's going to be more Creed. I hope you guys liked it. Yeah. It's a secular song. Till next time, guys. Subscribe, join in, take care. Really enjoyed it.